ovaries make progesterone to counterbalance the estrogen that's inside of your body. So some of you may have had a miscarriage in your lifetime. When people have miscarriages, it's usually due to not enough progesterone in their body. And what I have found is that when women have miscarriages, statistically they have a greater chance to have other neurologic problems like even MS down the road from now. That's how serious this is. See, I'm not here to play patty cake. I'm here to help you with long-term health decisions. Now men, you might have an elevated PSA. Now let me tell you ladies a little bit about men. When men hit about 40 years old, their physiology changes. Now it changes in a lot of different ways. But for a man, their prostate could start to enlarge. So that means when they get done urinating, they might think they're done urinating, and then they go to put their penis back in their pants, and they urinate a little bit more. It can be quite embarrassing. Now, if this starts to occur, what's happening to that man, his prostate is swelling. Now, men, I'm going to make a little statement to you. You want to start avoiding conventional meat. What does that mean, Dr. Bob? You want to eat organic meat. Because any meat product that has estrogen in it is going to affect your prostate gland, and it could raise your PSA. Now you might think, well, who cares about that? You'll care about that a lot, because if your PSA is up and your prostate is swollen, they grab a hold of your penis with a piece of equipment that looks like the rotor-rooter that comes to your front yard, your sewer pipes. Well, they grab a hold of your penis and they rotor-root inside to ream out your prostate. They say, well, nobody will ever do that to me. Hey, I've had more than one man say that to me. If your prostate is swollen, you're going to want them to do anything to take that swelling away. So you don't need to get Flomax. You need to stop eating. You need to stop eating conventional meat products. You need to stop eating. Now listen to this. When you put any kind of a plastic item in a microwave and you heat it, that's making estrogen. When you eat canned food today, you know what's in canned food? They put a plastic coating inside of all cans today. And when they pasteurize that can, there's estrogen that's released. I don't know if you figured it out, but if your wife has tender breasts and heavy menstrual flow, she more than likely has high estrogen. If you're eating the same food that she's eating, you might not have tender breasts and heavy menstrual flow. What's going to happen to you over time is your prostate's going to be affected. And I had a gentleman that came into my office a month ago, he's 56 years old, with a tear in his eye because he has a PSA of 6.5, which is a test for prostate. So I started asking him questions. He had hot dogs and Doritos and diet soda and chicken wings every day. You know, he was a big burly kind of guy, and he looked at me like, what are you going to do? And I said, if you don't stop doing this stuff right now, you're going to die. Well, people aren't used to hearing that, but I'm used to saying that a lot because of what's going on in our society today. So if any of you in here eating chicken wings and hot dogs and Doritos and diet soda, pop, that's toxic to your body. And I would just encourage you now, thus saith the Lord, you're going to want to stop doing that. Yeah. Now I'm going to talk about something that is so significant. This is from AutoZone. If you remember in the good old buy and die days, this is a Fram oil filter. And they used to market it by saying, you pay me now, you pay me later. Well, the pay me later is health challenges today. So in the human body, the liver is your oil filter. So if a woman has tender breasts and heavy menstrual flow, that usually means she has high estrogen. Now, I know that a woman has a normal cycle of about 28 days. I can tell you this, gentlemen, the first day after her menstrual cycle starts or stops to right about when she ovulates. Now, how do you know when she ovulates? She's going to be more lubricated. Those first 14 days of that month, now listen to me, I'm going to give you some direction now. After she stops menstruating, and she has this little window of time, she's going to be a little bit more frisky. Now you might not know that. There's certain windows of time. Now if you were smart, if you were a rocket scientist, you would figure out that is a time you want to be extra special to your wife. Why? Because you're going to get more action. You might get a little bit more lucky. Now you can say, why is that, Dr. Bob? See, women love romance. Yeah. So I pray to God, I don't need to show hands, I'll close my eyes. I hope that every man that was in this room had and made love with their wife on Valentine's Day. If you did it, you have to wait a whole nother year. You got it? I worked my wife all week. Worked her all week for Valentine's Day. It was awesome. I gave her a card from France, and I put a special I love you note, and we were working each other. But when I came home from work on Thursday night, it was awesome. We could have made a movie. We could have made more money selling that movie than we could in our regular job. So I'm praying for you, and I've been married 32 years. It just gets better. Now I'm going to tell you something. Now listen, my wife does not have tender breast. My wife does not have a heavy menstrual flow because we eat Dr. Bob's ABCs, apple, beets, and carrots every day. So I have men that come into my office, I smack them around a little bit. They say, well, I'm not going to eat that. And I take them over to the corner and say, no, listen, just listen to me. I've been married a long time. I have a smile on my face. Men who have smiles on their face have that smile for a reason. This smile never leaves my face. You don't have a smile on your face. If you listen to me, I will guarantee you have a smile on your face. Don't whine to your wife. Your wife is a very smart person. Actually, I believe in my heart that women put up with a lot of stuff that men are not capable of, and I believe that women have all these hormones because my wife is my administrator, and I just know that when God created men, men are visual. Men just see stuff. I love seeing my wife naked. Now, sometimes, if a woman put on a few pounds, let me tell you something. Women, I don't care how skinny a woman is, she will look in the mirror. I don't know this about my wife, of course. She looks in the mirror. I can see her looking, and she looks at me, and I look away. And she's looking in the mirror, and I'm thinking, you know, what is your problem, woman? You are just gorgeous. So, I don't care how big you are or how tiny you are, your husband only cares about one thing. Being intimately in contact with you. You got to get that in your head. And I just read in the USA Today the other day that people were 300 pounds. It's a little bit more challenging. If you want to increase your encounters with each other, I'd encourage you to maybe lose some weight. That would definitely be a very big benefit. Getting back to these apple, beets, and carrots, though, and the tender breast, how often is a woman going to want to make love if her breasts are tender? How often is a woman going to want to make love if she's always having a menstrual cycle? That's a heavy menstrual flow. So I'm saying this as a family gathering together. You want to work together to get your body functioning optimally. Smart mothers and fathers don't eat Jif. What do you mean, Dr. Bob? I have to eat Jif. No, you don't. Jif, as any other conventional peanut butter, the very first ingredient happens to be peanuts. Very thoughtful of them, isn't it? The second ingredient happens to be sugar. The third ingredient happens to be something called partially hydrogenated oils. That's a big word. Yep, I know it's a very big word. Some of you like to eat French fries, so I want to briefly tell you a little story about fat. We're going to talk about healthy fat and not healthy fat. Healthy fat molecules are C-shaped. Fat molecules are C-shaped. Fat molecules make cell membranes. Well, a long time ago, there was a French guy that decided to try to come up with a new way to make candles. So he heated vegetable oil, put hydrogen in it, and a metal catalyst, and the oil started to have a really thick consistency, but it never really was enough to make a candle. But it looked like butter, but it wasn't butter because it had a disgusting white color, so they put it away on the shelf. And after World War II, and during World War II, they brought it out, and some of you in this room are aware what I'm talking about. It was a white kooky package. It had a little red button that you pressed the button, and all this, whatever was inside of there, turned yellow to look like butter. Well, see, that was oleomargarine. That oleomargarine was heated margarine, or heated vegetable oil, that the molecules changed shape from C to T. That's what trans fat is. Trans fat is partially hydrogenated oils. But what trans fat does is it confuses the body. See, the body works with C-shaped fat molecules, but when we heated this material, this vegetable oil, to lower cholesterol, it became T-shaped, confusing the body, confusing the brain. You say, well, Dr. Bob, what does that have to do with my sex life? Well, it has everything to do with your sex life, because guess what your body makes hormones out of? Oil. And if you eat too much peanut butter and French fries and Ho-Hos and Twinkies and Chips Ahoy and start looking for items that have partially hydrogenated